Hello to everybody. Hello and welcome to another weekly horoscope. It's a horoscope about the full moon in Gemini that will be there around about the 22nd and the 23rd of November. We're gonna have a full moon in Gemini, and let's have a look what that means in general, on a collective level, and then break it down into every single sign. Of course, these are general horoscope, general information, and if you really want to know the truth, or let's say if you really want to know more, just get in touch and ask for a reading or something, Anyways, but I know a lot of you are learning astrology, and let's get started, because this full moon is all about learning and it's all about information. We're gonna feel this energy not only on the 22nd, 23rd of November. It's like a building towards that energy, so to speak, and you will feel it afterwards as well. And it has one big message. It's about, it's whenever there is a full moon in Gemini. Now, whenever there is a full moon, let's put it that way, it's about things becoming clear. New moons are more like new beginnings. There is like a resting phase before the new moon, and then we can start all over again. But with a full moon, it's like things come to fruition. So, and the positive thing about a full moon is that you see things become conscious. It's about the sun in Sagittarius opposing the moon in Gemini, and things become clear. Now, especially when the moon is full in Gemini. Why? Because the moon is ruled by Mercury, and it's about information. Mercury is about information. Mercury is about, remember the full moon in Taurus, that's a totally different energy. That full moon is all about worth and value and the five senses. That's a total new energy, a total different energy, sorry. So this full moon in Gemini has a certain collective energy. The energy is of a very busy energy. Remember that the Gemini sign together with Sagittarius, if you have someone having this in a natal chart, and I do know some people who have this. These are people who are very mostly extroverted, who are very lively, who have a good sense of humor, and who are always on the road, and who are interested in everything and open for knowledge. And I want you to take that attitude, because that is the weather that is prescribed for us. So we better go with the weather instead of working against it. So for all of us, on a certain level, of course, I'll break it down in a minute, but for all of us, it's about getting information, getting new information, and learning new stuff, learning new things. Now, this is not just a full moon, of course. Other planets are also doing something. And to be very concise here, because I don't want to make these videos too long, this is again emphasized that it's all about broadening your mind, because Jupiter is involved. Jupiter is with Sagittarius together with Mercury, the ruler of the full moon. When Jupiter and Mercury come together, it's about seeing things big. Even when the Mercury goes retrograde, it's almost touching Jupiter again, which it has been doing for quite a few times. Normally it does that once and then it goes on. But now, because of the retrogrades are happening, Mercury and Jupiter connect with each other, which means that our mind wants to be more open. It wants to broaden. It wants to have a bigger look. It's like when you are, for instance, when you are like in a certain place. You are in a certain, you live not in a box, but let's say that you deliver tickets for people who are going to watch a movie. You're delivering tickets. Now, the Gemini nature or the Gemini energy could be the information that you're getting by seeing the people that are coming in and that are going to see the movie. You're seeing those people, but you don't know what the atmosphere is on the whole level. Is it a good atmosphere, a bad atmosphere? If you want to know more what's going on actually Are the people just coming because they want to escape from life, or are they just coming to have a good time? Then you need a Sagittarius kind of view. And you can only achieve that when you get out of your little box there where you're sitting to deliver the tickets. And when you're getting, for instance, upstairs, you go on the stairs and you see the whole picture. You see the people that are coming in, and you see the one that is delivering the tickets. So you see the whole picture, and you can have a very different perspective. It's broader, you know, the whole context. And this is what's going to happen to us. So that's never a bad thing, because it's about consciousness. It's about narrow consciousness instead of huge consciousness and seeing the whole picture. So we are going to explore that and experiment, not only experiment, but experience this energy of understanding the bigger picture. So, and of course, if we want to accept life, especially when life is going wrong, or when we see it as wrong and it's going tough because we cannot control it, having a bigger perspective is not going to change it, but it's going to help us in the process of acceptance. Because as soon as we accept the situation as it is, the things that we cannot control, then we can go on really, really fast. And this is the energy that is the forecast of the weather, so to speak. So lots of information is going to come to us, and it will keep on going like that. And certainly after the 6th of December, we're really, really going to know what kind of choices that we want to make, because then Mercury goes direct again. And so it's really reevaluating, gathering information, gathering new insights, and being as open as we can to the things that we don't fully understand. That's basically what this this full moon is all about. And it's a splendid time to learn something new. So whether, and especially because these are the mind houses. I mean, Gemini, Sagittarius. That emphasis is about the mind. So it's not so much about, let's say, values or love, or this is all about the intellect and the mind, the higher mind, connecting with the lower mind, so to speak. And although this sounds like the one is worse than the other, but it isn't. But what I'm trying to say here is that we can get really divine information, and mixing that with the information that we have on a daily basis, and therefore our choices are way easier to take, and we can take them with more confidence, and that is good. Now, what I just said about this opposition between Gemini and Sagittarius, which is very energy that's very flexible, it's very busy. So a lot of people will get very busy there. But it's even more emphasized to the square that it gets from Mars. So Mars will be in Pisces and will be squaring up to the moon, will be squaring up to the moon in Gemini, that is, which shows that there's passion going on there. I mean, Mars in a connection with the moon is not bad, but it can make people a bit frustrated, and it can make people a bit irritatable, and, they want to get what they want, that kind of energy. So if you will feel that way, if you feel like on some level you're getting annoyed by something or someone, know that you have to do something with that energy. So you have to express it. Even and again, ask yourself the question, can I control this or not? Is this out of my control? If yes, do something with that energy. Go fitnessing, go boxing, whatever it is, because Mars square moon is quite gut energy, or how do you say that? Quite emotional energy. But it's not bad, especially if you want courage, and if you are someone who is in a place in your life where you lack a little bit of courage to do things. Now is the time, because of that aspect. But again, I'll talk about in a minute for what kind of areas you can use this at its best. And on the other level, Mars will be squaring up the Sun. Mars will be squaring up Jupiter, Mercury, and so on. So extremely lively period. So around that time, it will, sometimes full moons are really about relating to each other, having a good time. And this as well, these signs are very optimistic. I mean, the Gemini and And Sagittarius, the full moons are my favorite full moons because they are so optimistic and they're so much about laughter and enjoyment and enjoying yourself and taking the adventure. But watch out just for the Mars, which means if you feel that you're getting frustrated and you can control the things, go on. If you cannot, if it's out of your control, try to transform that energy into energy that it's out of your body, basically, because it can create really annoyance in the body. You know, Mars squaring up to the Sun is one of the most male energies that you can get, because it's about, I want something, I go for it, and I'm, you know, it's a bit of a macho there. It's a bit of a macho energy, but again, that's not good or bad, it's how we deal with it. So again, use it for something that you know that you have control over. If you're pushing and pushing and forcing things and people that you know you cannot change, just drop it and put that volatile and energy, put it somewhere else, in something that is positive, in something that is constructive. So it's all about aligning yourself with the divine and listening. Does the divine, or God if you like, or your higher self, if you don't believe in God or in the divine, your higher self, is this what you want? You know, aligning that is as well something that has to do, that is a major theme of this full moon. Because the 9th house and the 3rd house are houses of the intellect. But certainly with the Sun there, Jupiter there, in the 9th house of Sagittarius, on a collective level, means that there is a possibility to connect better with the divine. So let's get started. So very interesting times here. Let's get started with all the signs. For Aries people, now this is so interesting because it's for them very much about the intellect. It's very much about, not to say that this is not about people, but this full moon in particular is about something becomes clear in your way of thinking, and take advantage of that. There is a possibility to connect better with your higher self, with God if you like, with the divine intellect. And you can flow with that easier. So just make sure that you don't do, because Mars is in your 12th house, which is a bit of a annoying position to have. So make sure that you don't undermine yourself. That because when Mars, our 12th house is what is hidden from ourselves, what we don't know about ourselves. And Mars is you, it's your ruler. So a lot of people could be saying like, because other people will see your blind spot, but you won't. And typically when Mars goes in the 12th house, other people will say, hey, Aries, you are a bit, you are so feisty, or you are arrogant, or you are aggressive, and you are not seeing that at all because you don't want to see it, or you just, you're not conscious of it. So be aware of that. When people start saying to you, you're aggressive, listen to it. Listen to it. You don't have to, but I'm just suggesting, okay? You don't have to do anything what I'm saying here. Just take what resonates with you. Remember, that's a very big one when watching these horoscopes. Take you're the captain of your ship. I say that in every single reading that I'm doing. You're the captain of your ship. So for Aries people, very good when they have to implement new ways of thinking, new information coming their way. Oh, learning something new, Aries people. A very good time. It's a good time to learn a new language. Absolutely. Oh, my goodness me. With all this energy, I mean, actually not only for Aries, I should have said that in the beginning. For everyone, it's a splendid time to learn a new language. I've been thinking about that as well. I saw the unbelievable addictive, I never watch series, I almost never do that, but this one was extremely, it was pushed by my son. What was it called? Casa de Papel, or something like that, you know. Casa de Papel. I've learned quite some Spanish words that were not always the best words, but anyways. And I thought, why not learning a new language again? You know, it gives you because learning a new language is not just learning that language and communicating. It expands the mind, especially when you're learning a language that has nothing to do with your own language. So maybe I would have to learn Chinese or something, because that would really broaden up the synapses of your mind. because this is not only information for the Aries, by the way, I just forgot to say this. The broadening of the mind when you learn a language. Astrology is a language. Don't you think that by learning a language like astrology, it's not just giving you information about the astrology, it's broadening your mind. A lot of people get to know themselves better. A lot of people understand themselves better and therefore others by learning a language. So, when you have time, when you want to do it, learn a language. I will certainly do that. Either Spanish or Chinese. I think the first one. Because Chinese are 你是荷兰人吗? If you are Chinese and you understood that sentence, do the comment. 你是荷兰人吗? 你是中国人吗? Anyways, I do love languages. I have an emphasis on the 9th house, so which is that mind house. So, but I really recommend it. I say it out of experience. When you learn a new language, you're opening up your mind, and it's time for that. It's the perfect time. The universe is saying, open up your minds. And I don't mean to say that you have to overpower other people's opinions or something like that, or you forcing your opinion to others. When you're doing this in a forceful way, it's the negative side of Sagittarius and Gemini. Negative side of Sagittarius is really being the wiseacre. You don't want to be like that, do you? I mean, when you're pointing a finger, you're pointing 3 fingers back to you. Remember that. Having said that, for Aries people, I have my moon in Aries, by the way. So yeah, it's about learning a new language. It's about broadening your mind, but it's about being careful of your blind spots. And when you hear that people are really saying all the same thing, listen to it. Taurus. This is on another level for Taurus people. This full moon is on the level of actually what is really what is really your energy a bit, because it's in the 2nd and in the 8th house, which is a Taurus and Scorpio house. So it's about this new information that is coming in about your self-worth. It's about new talents developing as well. So you could be doing also learning this new stuff, maybe not only a language, maybe something else, but it's about new information that is coming your way, that and see it in a broad perspective that has to do with maybe finances. It could be that there is some new information that is coming in and that you're saying, when it comes to money. But again, when it comes to money, when you want to make big decisions, wait after the 6th of December to do so, if you can, of course. And that Mars is in your 11th house. So you could be more wanting to put goals there. Use it in a positive way. Mars in the 11th in a negative way is that you're quarreling and you're discussing with friends and you don't get along with your friends. But I want you to go towards the positive thing, which is establishing and working actively on new goals that you're having. That has to do with money maybe, or that has to do with your self-worth. So for Taurus, it's a lot about the Taurus team, and you're going to like it. So you see that for some signs, it's going to be more important than for other signs, this full moon. And of course, for Gemini, it's going to be very important for all the mutable signs, by the way. This is happening in your 1st house, you Gemini. So long time ago, hasn't it, that, the spotlight is really on you. Just remember, be careful when it comes to work that you're not going to punch the boss or do like the boxing against the boss. Do it in the boxing area instead of with the boss, because Mars is in your 10th house. So you could be really getting a bit annoyed there by work, by a boss, by someone in authority. But remember, it's about you, and it's about what you discover, and also with another person. So it's about your needs versus the needs of another person. Watch out for ego struggles and wiseacre conversations. So yes, you have your truth. Also be open for the truth of someone else, and try, if you want to change when it comes to your work, that is, if you want to make changes there, it's a good time to do so, only when you can control it. So only Put your energy into something that you want to control. If you're working in a big company, I'll give you an example. If you're working in a big company and they're doing stuff that is absolutely against your integrity, you can do two things with this energy. You could say bye-bye, or you could say, look, I'm accepting this, that this environment is not perfect for me, but I'm not going to work towards what I can change in that environment. You know, and of course, when it's just a little problem that is annoying you, it's you who will see that. Do you want to change that company with 1,000 workers in it? And it's a fight that you're going to lose, by the way. That's basically what I'm saying. So put your energy into you, put your energy into what you need, and make your conclusions. But again, when it comes to conclusions and very important decisions, after the 6th of December is better, because then Mercury goes direct again, and then you will get the whole picture. Sometimes people, and people, including me for sure, are a bit impatient, and sometimes we need to wait until things unfold, and then we have another clue and another information, and we can make better choices. This is one of those times. Okay, but certainly very interesting to talk about your needs, but make sure that you're counting to 10 when a boss or someone at work who is in authority above you is really annoying you, okay? And if you want to leave, you can leave, but take the consequences, you know, that kind of energy. Then for Cancer, this is really happening in the 12th house, which is a house that Cancer can deal with quite well, because it's a water house, and it is almost as things are becoming clear through your unconscious energy, almost. Like, for instance, it could be a dream. It could be that you feel in your dreams you are connected and you saw information. So information is, if you're someone who is quite psychic, and I mean, you're a water sign, per definition, everybody is psychic at some level, but certainly Cancerians, because they kind of feel the energies. But now it's not a lot about feeling, it's also about information coming your way through a way that is not really classic. That's a bit like that. So put a notebook beside your bed, because you can have really solutions there in your dreams. And it could have to do with your work. It could have to do with health as well. But there is something that is becoming very clear for you, and you don't have to do any effort. So that's good, isn't it? Sometimes we really have to make sure that we investigate, we Google, and we have a look at what we're doing. Here, actually, the more you relax yourself, the more the information is coming. So it's a bit of a state of surrendering. The more you are like that, the more you are enjoying yourself in a peaceful way, in a way of your own. Because the 12th house is the house of being alone and reloading your batteries. Reload your batteries. And then you will feel that a lot of information that is very broad and that will help you to make better choices. Okay, so just make sure that, again, you're not getting into a struggle with people about beliefs, and because Mars is in your 9th house of beliefs and pushing your thoughts through the throats of other people, or other people wanting to do that with you. Just say, this is not going to happen. Okay, for Leos, this is actually a fun full moon. Why? Because it's happening in fun houses, in your house, the 5th house and the 11th house, and it's also happening with an air sign and a fire sign, which is very good energy vibes for the Leo. So Leo had rough times, remember, with Mars retrograde, Venus still going, Venus will be going retrograde, will be going direct already off when this full moon happens. But you know, it's like, have some fun, really have some fun, do something. It could mean that information comes to you, but that is joyful. That has to do with friends, that has to do with, if you work with social media, that has to do with social media. That could be new things coming to fruition. and things to enjoy yourself. What is so important for everyone, but certainly for Leos. So you could be really expressing yourself and having a good time with friends. Just make sure that your values don't clash with other people's values, and especially the ones that are very close to you, because Mars is in your 8th house. So again, that is a bit of a hidden house there. Don't undermine yourself. Dig deep when it comes to a psychological understanding of yourself. When you do that, you're using this energy at its best. So, and if you want to change your financial situation, especially money that you share with other people, like with your spouse or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or with business partners, make sure that you're using this energy in doing actions, but listening on both sides. Okay, that's the positive Mars in the 8th house. So make sure that you're not going to do things that are in secret that later on you will regret, that kind of feeling. But in general, I mean, that's the only warning that I'm giving here. In general, have a good time, plan something enjoyable with friends, with people that are like-minded around those days, and you will have the greatest time. And my goodness me, you need it, don't you? You will do well. Virgo is another mutable sign, so Virgo is also a sign that will feel this a lot, this energy. So Virgos, Mercury is your ruler, and it's in the sign of Sagittarius, of the truth. So Virgo is already a sign that wants to know best. And I know that a lot of Virgos will maybe be angry with me because I say this. I'm a Virgo myself, but it's true. So be careful. Be careful that, because Mars is in your 7th house, that means that the people who are your lovers, your boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse, business partner, clients, they could be a bit more demanding than usual. They could demand a lot of time of yours. But the thing is, deal with it. Be open for their point of view, because they are strong. And certainly at this moment, with Mars in the 7th house, it's better to try to work together instead of just saying, hey, this is what I think, and it's my way or the highway. That's when Mars is in your 1st house. So try to listen and open up. Try to open up your view, open up your mind, and that's the best that you can do. But expect that people will be a bit more annoying than usual. Just accept that. And by that acceptance, because you cannot control other people's moods, can you? I mean, I know that Virgos always want to fix, but this is something that is, you're wasting your energy. Just make sure that you can use that energy to improve yourself and to fix things that you want to fix for a long time. Because this is also related, this full moon is in your 10th house of work. So it could mean that work and relationship and home, it's not all in a balance at the moment. It's a bit, one is pulling and the other is pulling and another one is pulling, but it is like that so that you can make the balance. Okay, so having that, so you could be feeling very a bit stressed out, so to speak, and very busy. But if you know this is coming, you can prepare yourself for it, and you can say it's only a couple of days, before the full moon and a bit after that. It's only a couple of days that you feel it's super busy, and that a lot of people are pushing you, are needing you. So on a simple level, it could mean that you're very busy at work, and that a lot of people are demanding. Like for me, for instance, it could mean that I have a lot of clients that I deliver the reading, and then they have another question, and then they have another question. So instead of me being angry because of that, I better have a look patiently, do what I need to do, not overdoing it, of course, but just accepting that they are maybe in a difficult place, trying to understand their position and working from there. And if they're making if they're criticizing or whatever, or saying you should better do this or that, instead of saying, which Virgos like to do, It's my thing. I decide. Maybe you could say, oh yeah, maybe in general I could do that. I could change that. I could change that when it comes to my work. Maybe I'm doing it in that particular way, and maybe if I would do it in another way, it could maybe help me in the long run. You see, trying to do actually be just a Virgo. You know, Virgos are the ones that are wanting to trying to improve themselves, but of course, within boundaries. I mean, you don't have to become a doormat, never ever. So interesting energy, not so easy to handle, but Virgos, you can do it. Libra. For Libra, it's not that bad. Why? Because Libra is an air sign. The Gemini moon is also in air, and this is absolutely not the most difficult moon for you. On the contrary, this can be a very interesting moon, and a moon that gives you a lot of freedom and adventure. And this full moon is in your 9th house, so you are probably one of the ones, or a lot of Librans, a lot of Libra risings, that is, will find themselves learning something new, learning that new language, or having like it's like they're getting the facts and the figures, but they're also getting the intuition at the same time. Information is coming towards you, and that is really, really good. And be active on the work level or in your day-to-day routines, because you've got Mars there in your 6th house, which Mars likes to be in the 6th house. It likes to fix problems and all of that, as long as you're not getting annoyed by it. So when problems rise on a daily basis, you know, those little problems that can occur, instead of fighting against it, tackle them. Tackle them, and you can do a lot during this time. But I think focus on that bigger picture that I talked about, and it's a good time, maybe by traveling or by a communication with someone from abroad who's giving you like the facts and the figures, but also a broader perspective. So you could really do well with connecting with someone from a totally different culture, who has a totally different opinion, that can help you with maybe some day-to-day stuff that you're dealing with that is not the easiest, okay? Scorpios also very interesting, because it's in a bit of their scorpionic energy, so they will deal with it easier, because this is happening in the Taurus house, the 2nd house, and your house, the 8th house of Scorpio. So you've got the full moon there. So again, a bit like the Taurians, this is all about this is all about trust. This is all, there's gonna be some events happening, or if it's not an event, it's things that are going to become very clear for you, that you're saying, okay, that you will understand that trust in yourself, of course, but also in others, is needed to have an easier life. Because when we are not trustworthy, if we doubt everything, our life becomes miserable. Our life becomes with fear, full of fear. And you don't want that. You want to trust and to know that, okay, if it doesn't work out, or if people are not worth your trust, you just go on. You learn from it, and